Writer's block happens to everyone all the time in every creative industry. Happens to me on a near enough daily basis. There are times when I haven't released YouTube videos because I have writer's block. So I don't mean for this video to be a kind of Bible or the truth, some truth if there is one. More, I just want to tell you a couple of tips that I use to kind of break through the mold and get started when I can't. So I'll give you 5 tips, and they are basically all music focused, but half of them will probably work in whatever creative industry you're working in. So I guess let's just get right into it. Why block ourselves? So let's start with the simplest first. So the very, very easy tip for musicians and composers is to try something new. And I don't just mean try a new genre. I don't mean try a new style. I mean literally move your hands, move your key to a different place. Let me show you on the keyboard. So I usually, whenever I start composing, because I like how the basses can go right down to a D with a bit of vibrato, I usually start in the key of D, D minor. And I always, my hands always come back to D minor. For no real particular reason, no good reason at the very least. So what I would do to kind of break through writer's block is, as my hands come up to D minor, I would then go, actually, no, we're not. We're going to go G major today and switch out. And bonus, if you can avoid that one chord that you usually start on, even better. Obviously, much harder to do when you come up with a good idea and you don't want to block yourself even further. But this kind of it's not even a limitation, it's just a shift to a new place means you have a fresh start every single time. So that's tip number 1, try a new key and try something new. Tip number 2 is another really simple one, and this works for every creative industry. Make yourself a cup of tea. I drink black tea, or well, white tea in this case, but I mean black tea as in black tea leaves, English breakfast tea. But also like green tea. There's a load of studies that show that tea is great for stimulating you with the caffeine, but there's not a huge amount of caffeine in it. Therefore, it's not kind of going to send your mind racing. It kind of just gives you a little boost. And it's also because it's one of those nice kind of smooth drinks to drink. It kind of relaxes you on the way into this as well, in a kind of strange way. It definitely works for me. I don't know whether it works for you, but worth a shot. I mean, you know, you buy some tea bags, like what? Like. So tip number 3, this is another one that you've probably heard a million times, but I'm genuinely serious. Get up and get out of here. Just go out for a walk, go clear your head, clear your space, and just come back and start. That's the best way just to get rid of some of that stuff that's clogging up your brain. Tip number 4 is much easier said than done, and that is clear your workspace. I mean, physically clear everything off your desk. I'm not going to show you my desk because I can't follow my own rules for anything. But a nice clear space where you walk in and you feel inspired by the room. You don't feel blocked. You don't feel like every time you move your hand, every time you go to the keyboard, you're going to hit something, or every time you start typing, you're going to kick up some dust or something like that. Making sure your space is super nice and organized so that you can just come in and start without anything being a blocker is key. And this tip about removing blockers goes way deeper than just cleaning your desk. I'm talking anything, whether it's, your chair is uncomfortable, therefore you don't want to sit in your chair and do your composing, change chair. You don't want to use your keyboard because it's not satisfying to play under your fingers, change your keyboard. You don't have to spend a shitload of money on anything. What you do need to do, though, is make sure that you're at your peak comfort, because that's when the best ideas can be forefronted against all the background noise. If something as simple as the sponginess of a keyboard distracts you from coming up with great ideas, then you should remove that distraction as much as possible. And the same goes for mobile phones. Switch them off, get them out of there. I'm using it now because I use it to change my cameras. But, you know, I will usually put my phone on silent and actually completely switch off from any kind of harassment from notifications. So that's tip number 4. Remove any blockers and clear your space. Tip number 5 is going to completely infuriate you, but I'm deadly, deadly serious. Just start. Just physically, just start. It doesn't matter if you write just trash, just start. By starting, you get that blocking idea out of your head and you're able to kick off. So for example, I might be composing a track that is a fantasy track, but hours previous, I was composing a military technological electronic track, and maybe that one turned out terrible, but because that one turned out terrible, I had the confidence and I had got rid of that blocker of, oh, how do I actually do this? Or how do I want to actually do this? That blocker was now gone and I could have my free space in my brain to start. So seriously, just start. There is no beating around the bush. Just start. I mean, like literally, I'll show you right now. Switch to your DAW, press record, go to your keyboard, and just play something. Who cares? Doesn't matter. That's a terrible, terrible chord progression that everyone has overused for a million years, and it sounds dumb. Cool. That's now in my DAW, and I can just get rid of it. And I can start again. I know that that idea doesn't work. Let's move on to the next one. That is one of the quickest and best ways to just get started. And that is literally just get started. Throw any reason out the window. Throw anything you actually want to do out the window and just start. Just play something in, hit some drums, do something. You can bring in some loops. That's a quick and easy way to get through some of those bad ideas. Who cares? Just mess it up. It's fine. You're the only one who's going to see it. It's going to be in your DAW. You just delete it. Anyway, so there are 5 tips on how to beat writer's block. Hopefully, some really useful tips. As I say, they're not necessarily the answer. They're never going to be necessarily the answer, but they are what I use and they work for me. So push yourself, get a piece started, and I'll see you in the next one.